Hey there, Papa's Posse. Don't forget about that QR code. Take you to my eBay, YouTube, and Instagram page. Well, welcome back to the channel, Papa's Posse. Once again, it's time for Papa's Comic Books, Coffee, and more. Today we have We Are The Beatles. It's for Mom and Dad and Callum and everybody by Mark Wang and Zoe Tucker. Now don't forget, please hit that like button. One day in the summer of 1957, Paul met up with his friends and went to the local village fair. A brand new band was playing, and he really wanted to hear them. The band roared into life. It was called the Quarrymen. They were called the Quarrymen, and standing in the front playing the guitar and singing was a 16-year-old boy called John. After the concert, Paul met John and the two boys talked for hours. Paul had taught himself to play the guitar, and he played for a few songs for John. John thought he sounded pretty good and asked him to join the band. Paul was excited. He really wanted to impress John. But at first concert, Paul felt nervous. He had a big guitar solo, and he wasn't sure if he would be good enough. Would anyone like his performance? He peeped out from the side of the stage and looked at the crowd. John, who was always cool as a cucumber, said, "Don't be nervous, Paul. You can do it." And there's Paul singing away. Every day after school, the two friends raced home to hang out together. John was funny and confident, and Paul was quiet. John liked poetry and art. Paul liked rock and roll and blues music. The both band loved playing guitars. And there they are, the two of them playing guitars. Sometimes they would hitchhike to far-off places just to write new songs. John would start a line, and Paul would finish the line. Isn't that what we heard about every song they wrote? Sometimes they'd goof around, and sometimes they'd tell each other their deepest hopes and dreams. This is the new style, Paul's telling John. The band grew bigger when Paul's friend George joined the group. He was a whiz on the guitar, and he was always introducing the group to new sounds. I wonder what new sounds he was telling them. Let's find out. Over the next couple of years, the band gigged in rowdy London bars. And rocked the cool clubs of Hamburg. And there they are, in Hamburg, Germany. They gained a manager. And what they really found was perfect. John, Paul, George, and Ringo became the Beatles. When the Fab Four played together, it was impossible not to like them. They had such a cool sound. They bopped and clapped. They whooped. People all around the world began to notice them on the radio, and on the television. And they were dancing to the tunes on his record player. The world was changing a lot. The young generation felt inspired and excited by the Beatles' new sound. Who knew what the future might hold? And there they are. Oh, look, a yellow submarine bus. Before long, huge crowds would gather to hear John, Paul, George, and Ringo perform. The fans went wild. I love Paul. Never leave U.S. They became so popular that in 1965, the Beatles played the first ever stadium concert. 55,000 people arrived to watch them play. No musicians had ever played to a crowd that big before. Whoops. Backstage, the four lads from Liverpool felt really nervous. John was frightened he might not remember the words. Oh, come on, I'm sure John knew all the words. They practiced the chords and sang their harmonies, and they waited to go on. Then they changed into their suits and ruffled their hair. "Don't worry, lads, we can do this," said John to all the friends. That was actually Paul. That's Paul in that comic right there. He said that. And there they are, singing away. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. And all the good stuff they were singing. Ringo, George, Paul, and John were each talented in their own way, but together they were groundbreaking and unique. The Beatles became the best band in the world. We are the Beatles. They rocked the world and changed the music scene forever. Coming together in 1962. John, Paul, George, and Ringo, the four lads from Liverpool, combined their talent and creativity to create a sound that would have never heard before. In 1970, the band split up and started a solo music career. After a very intense band of being the Beatles, it was a difficult time emotionally and they had falling outs. But after a little while, they became friends again. This is their true life tales show that they worked together.